Hi class, I wanted to show you another free service that you can use to do your own weather forecasting. Hopefully you'll learn enough that from this class that you'll be able to do a little bit of that. And especially for those of you in emergency management, being able to see why something is happening is very helpful. So this is, the site is called wiscwx.com. And when you get here, in fact, let me start from fresh and show you how to do it. You would come in here and you have the opportunity to choose which model you want to use. The one I'm going to pull up is the NAM. You can also pull up the GFS. NAM stands for North American Model, and it goes out for about 64 hours as shown on here. There are all of these others that you can look at. A meteorologist will look at multiple different models and then determine which one is the best fit for the current weather condition. One of the reasons why I get frustrated when people say, well, I looked on weather.com and everything looked like it was going to be sunny right now is because any site that you can just pick up your phone and see a model that predicts out every few minutes, all they're doing is pulling straight from one particular model. There's no human eyes looking at it. To get the best information, each model has its own biases, and so I will choose which model I want to look at. And hopefully from years of experience, I know their pros and cons. But here's a North American model. So obviously it's centered on North America. And you add loops. So what I did was I just added the surface. And the reason why I wanted to show you this week is because last week you looked at the different layers of the atmosphere and that you saw that the temperature changed in the different layers from the thermosphere to the stratosphere. Basically, all weather is down in the lowest level. So we are looking first at the surface up at 850 millibars. And each of these is progressively higher, 700 millibars, 500. Now we're getting up by the airplanes, so we're getting up to about 250 millibars. And that's as high as we look at. So each one I use for a different reason, and each level of the atmosphere interacts with the other level. So one thing that I wanted to show you is let's start way up above. So I'm going to give you a second to orient yourself. Can you find Florida, the base map under there? I know it's a little hard. But then just look at the colors, and can you see that it looks like waves on an ocean? Our weather travels around the globe in waves, and these waves interact with one another just like waves of an ocean, where you'll have two large waves come together and create a larger wave, or they may, depending on the peak of the wave and the timing, actually cancel one another out. So watch as I progress through time, and you can see that these waves travel across the country. So let me go back, and you can see a deep wave coming in on the west coast. This is highly unusual weather. Another thing I wanted to show you. So right now, my daughter just sent me some pictures from Utah. It's snowing there right now. That's because we've got this deep wave that is just moving in. The winds here are howling because we're starting to get offshore winds. This would be more typical of a fall pattern than an early summer pattern. And what we will be seeing is that there's going to be severe weather probably in the upper Midwest this week. Now, do you see that this wave is dying out as it moves across the country? But here comes this next one, a really deep wave this really is very unusual. So that's the upper level. We're looking at the winds. You know, when you're flying from California over to New York, your time is shorter than if you go from New York back to California. And that's because we have these jet stream winds that travel basically from west to east. But when you have these elongated patterns like this, the winds are more north to south. So in this area, you can see the winds are coming straight from the north. And here we've got a strong southerly flow, which is going to flood this area with warm air. So I don't want to take too long in the video. We'll talk more about this on Wednesday night. I just want to give you a little teaser. One thing to look at is this is Cristobal. They've moved onshore. And you can see around Cristobal, we've got counterclockwise circulation. So the winds are coming in off the Gulf, and that creates the storm surge that has been an issue in the flooding and also the rain. Okay, at 500 millibars, the colors that you see here are vorticity. I'm not going to get into that right now, but it's the spin of the storm that actually creates some of the uplift. One of the things to look at. This is then at 700 millibars. The colors on this map are moisture. And we look at 700 millibars for where we have pockets of moisture and pockets of dry air. And so you'll see all of that moisture spinning up with Cristobal, and it moves all the way up into the upper plains. And go backwards here. And you can see that move up there and interact with this system that's coming in from the west. But then it moves on up to the northeast. Okay, and then this level is 850 millibars. That's not too far above the surface, but the thing that we watch for here is the heating and the cooling. So blue, sometimes I can't anchor it. There we go. This would be cold air, massive cold air. And then this is the warm air. So June, that's more what we're watching for, but let's take a look at, you can see that most of that cold air is locked up and it rotates in around the west side of the storm. But can you see that the heat starts to peak in the west again? Remember I was showing you that ahead of the system, we have the southwest winds. And so we have a lot of warm air going up through Utah. So they're going to have snow, and then they're going to heat up really, really fast. So this goes out to 84 hours. So just a quick look. I don't want to take too long on this, but I just wanted to show you something else that you can utilize. It's free. And if you've got any questions on the current weather, we'll stop by on our Wednesday night meeting. Just going to remind you that what I do for that, it takes the place of all of your forum activity for the week. You have to stay at least for 15 minutes, and we do start on time at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And that's the plan. So I'd love to see you at that. Thanks so much.